Hey guys, Happy New Year and welcome to the Stoney Acres YouTube channel. I am super excited to get started with my garden adventure this year, and January, actually believe it or not, is the perfect time to get growing if you live in zones 9 and 10. Now, those of you that live in zones 9 and 10, you know what your weather is like in January. It's already, you're starting to get over the worst of the weather and things are starting to warm up. Now, if you happen to not live in zones 9 or 10 and you're watching this video, never fear. I actually have videos for planting in January for those of you that live in zones 7 and 8. And there's also a video for those of you that live in zones 5 and 6. And those will be up here in the links, and you can click through to those. Now, if you happen to not know what garden zone you live in, there's a link in the description down below. You can click on that. It will take you out to our website, and you'll learn a little bit more about what garden zones are, and then it will take you out to a site where you can actually put in your postal code, and it will tell you what garden zone you live in, okay? So, again, this video is for those of you that live in 9 and 10, and you guys are the warm parts of the country. For the most part, we're talking about people that live in Florida, Arizona, Southern California, maybe the tip of Texas and a few places like that. But you guys are the warm places that don't get a lot of freezing temperatures, don't get probably hardly any snow at all, if any. And so things are already starting to turn the corner probably for you guys in January. And so there's actually a lot that you can do. The list of things that you can plant in January, both indoors and outdoors in your garden, is pretty long. And you're going to be happy because there's a lot of stuff that you can get doing right away. Okay, so let's start first with the things that you can plant indoors in January. And we're going to start those as seedlings, put them in under lights, and start your seeds indoors. So that list is actually pretty good. And you'll notice that we're already starting to move into the warm weather crops for you guys in January that you're going to be starting indoors, because 6 to 8 weeks from now, your frost danger is all going to be gone, and you'll be able to plant some of these warm season crops out into the garden. So these are the seedlings that you want to be starting indoors in January. First is eggplant. You can plant eggplant indoors and get it going. Kale is also another one that you can plant in January. Always a great choice. You can plant kale almost all year long, and taste will vary based on the weather. Kale likes cooler weather, so January is a good time to get it planted, but you can even plant it in the summertime as well. Melons, all of your different melons you can get planted in January. Peppers, squashes, so all of the different squashes, including the summer squashes and your cucumbers, can all be planted indoors as seedlings in January. And then tomatoes and all of your less hardy herbs, so things like basil and oregano and plants that can't handle frost. All of those can be started indoors as seedlings in January. There's also some flowers that you can be starting in January if you're interested in growing some flowers. Just a short list of flowers that you could start indoors in January would be cosmos, marigolds, sunflowers, and zinnias. And all of those are going to probably stay indoors for about 8 to 10 weeks maybe, and then you'll transplant those out into your garden in March. That'll be a perfect time for them. Okay, so that's all of the indoors one. Let's run through them again. Eggplant, kale, lettuce, melons, peppers, squash, tomatoes, basil, and then flowers, cosmos, marigolds, sunflowers, and zinnias. All can be planted in January indoors, okay? Now let's talk about outdoors, because you guys are lucky enough that with your warmer weather, you'll be able to plant things in January outdoors as well. So first off, let's talk about seedlings. So these would be already grown plants that you can actually transplant out into your garden, either that you have started indoors yourself or that you're buying from your local nurseries, okay? So cool weather crops right now is what we're going to be planting. Broccoli, cabbage, cauliflower, chard, and Asian greens. So all of the different varieties of Asian greens. All of those could be transplanted as seedlings, already little grown plants, out into your garden in January. Great time to get those in because they like cool weather and they want to have that cool weather, and so you need to make sure that you are planting those in January so that they have lots of cool weather to grow in, okay? Now there are actually a lot of things that you can direct sow in the garden as well. So seeds that you can plant in the soil. Now, the one warning that I'll give you is that make sure your soil has dried out enough and that you're not working muddy soil. You don't ever want to work your soil when it's muddy because it's bad for the soil structure, bad for the organisms in the soil if you're working it when it's really, really wet. So wait for it to dry out, but there's a ton of things that you can be planting outdoors directly in the soil as seeds right now in January. That list includes arugula, cabbage, carrots, kale, lettuce, onions as both seedlings and as sets if you want to plant either way, peas, radishes, spinach, turnips, chives, cilantro, parsley. The list is just great. All of the cool weather crops, you can be planting those directly into your soil in January if you live in zones 9 and 10, okay? So you guys, I'm jealous. I live in a zone 6 garden, and it's cold here still in January, and no outdoor planting at all for us. We can do a little bit of indoor planting in January, but you guys in the warm zones, that's nice for you to be able to get out in the garden and start planting right at the beginning of the year. So that is awesome for you guys. So get out there and get those. Now, I've included a written list of all of these down in the description below, so if you want to copy and paste that, whatever you want to do, that's awesome. But kind of timing for these would be if you live in zone 10, you're going to want to do all of this early in January. Zone 9, you might want to hang off a little bit until maybe like January 15th or somewhere around there and do that planting then, okay? So that is it. That is your list of vegetables that you can be planting in January if you live in zones 9 and 10. Okay, hope you enjoyed this video. We're going to be doing a whole series of these type of videos for you this year. Each month we'll do a video for zones 9 and 10 to tell you what you should be planting during that month. So look forward to it again coming up in February. At the end of the video, as we add those, I'll add those to a playlist, and it'll be in the cards at the end of the video where you can just link through and watch the next video in the series. So as soon as we get February up, I'll put it in there so that you guys can watch it. And so I look forward to seeing you every month as we go through and talk about what we can be planting in our gardens. So I hope you really enjoy this. Now, please make sure that you subscribe to my YouTube channel. And when you do that, make sure you click that notification bell. That will let you know when videos are available for you. The other thing that I did want to point out to you is if you want to learn more about growing seedlings indoors, then you could take my Seed Starting Simplified course, which is open for new students several times during the spring. And so if you click the link down in the description below, it'll take you to that course and you can join that. It's about a 3-hour course. We have lots of live Q&A sessions, a lot of good fun, hands-on practical stuff to get you growing your own seedlings indoors. So that's down there below. Okay, that is all that I have for you for this video. Everybody have a great week. We'll see you in the next video. Happy gardening.